Welcome to another edition of Lying on the Beach on Camera, also known as LOBOC. I'm Steve Greenberg with
Lois Whitman.
And we also have with us our engineer, David Nieves. David, say your name for us, please.
Correct. David Nieves.
Nieves, okay. I'm going to have to work on that.
I don't want to complain, David, but when he introduces me, even though we're recording and keeping this, the Zoom should have been on my face.
No,
it is.
It is.
It is. On his end, it is.
Yeah.
You'll see when it all comes out, it's there. So what you're seeing is not the same thing.
I see him, and I don't see me.
Okay,
No.
folks. Remember we talked about Zoom etiquette? This is a perfect example of really bad Zoom. This wasn't real what just happened here. We were just play acting what it would be like if we were to have really bad Zoom etiquette.
Always
This
ignore
would
me.
be it.
I'm really getting pissed off.
Hit the gallery button in the corner there, so you'll see all of us equally.
I have the gallery button on. It's on, and he did.
Okay, then we should be fine.
Okay.
For the folks at home, today we're all still staying at home. We're all still somewhat quarantined and not leaving our homes. And but we want to discuss things that's on everybody's mind. And one of those things is what we're watching on television and also fashion. Because even though we're home, we're still, look at the three of us, we are perfect examples of high fashion staying at home. I'm wearing a polo shirt, which I only put on because we're doing this. And Lois looks very, very dressed up, very fancy there. Look at that fancy jewelry she has. And David, what's going on? What kind of t-shirt is that, David?
Oh, this is a emoji t-shirt.
Oh,
I don't know if you
I
can
like
see
it. Very cool. Very, very, very on spot with the COVID high fashion.
He's woke.
So
he's woke.
He's woke. He's very woke. So, and we're going to unpack that later. Use all the new words we want. So, one of the things that we were talking about a little bit earlier is that there's a new Project Runway. So there's Project Runway, which is about fashion. It's a contest. And now Amazon has launched Making the Cut, which is sort of like, basically it's Project Runway, but done, I think, with just a much bigger budget. Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum have joined the new show, and Bravo still has the Project Runway show. I've been watching both of them. Lois, you watched Making a Cut. Did you like it? Didn't you like it? What were your thoughts?
I liked it because for the first 8 years of my life, I worked for Women's Wear Daily. So when I see all those designers, getting so happy and so euphoric and with great opportunity, going to Paris and meeting the French Vogue editor and other fashion designers and Heidi and Tim, I could feel, I feel great for them. I thought the setting was fabulous. Mm-hmm. I thought, I have some other feelings about what they created, but this is only the first episode. I will watch it again, and you strong on me to watch this because I really wasn't interested. But I feel that Heidi and Tim, first of all, they've aged. When they started out, they looked much younger. I don't know, I know nothing about fashion. My fashion extends to Chico's. Bonnie, have a laugh if you're listening. And it doesn't go beyond that. But Tim Gunn, when he first comes on the first episode, is wearing a jacket. And I know that's supposed to be suave and in and woke and whatever else you call it. It is so tight around him that it looks.
I agree.
He looks like Tiny Tim, or he looks like, who's that guy that got caught in the movie theater?
Oh, Paul Reubens. Paul Reubens.
He looks like Paul Reubens. Now, maybe that's the way you're supposed to look. I get it, but he looked ridiculous. He's 60 plus. I think we looked it up. He's 65 years old, wearing an outfit for an 18. The other suits he wore were absolutely gorgeous.
I agree.
Tie, the jackets, perfect for a man his age, very distinguished looking and stuff like that. But and Heidi looks great no matter what. But you could see that she got the best of the best, which the rest of us can't get. And but it was a great show. Elliot, who watched it with me, thought the whole thing was staged. That the winner was picked ahead of time because she wasn't the best there. just wasn't.
I don't know about that part of it. I kind of feel like the original Project Runway, which is still running on Bravo, when I watch the two of them together, there's something feels a little bit more spontaneous and a little bit more from the seat of your pants. Whereas this one is well moneyed. The prize money is $1 million versus Project Runway, where the prize money is $300,000. But there's just something more, I don't know, there's a little more energy or something going on. The other thing I didn't like is they have these little vignettes of Tim and Heidi on a date or going out to dinner and stuff like that, to give them, to show their chemistry or to spotlight them. And I think that's not what the show is about. If I were the producers, and I think they are the producers, I would kill those segments. Stick to the show. Make it about what the show is about. These breakaways where we see Heidi and Tim having, getting their caricatures or having dinner. I love them both. I mean, I've always said Tim Gunn is my first pick for a Sunday brunch whenever brunch comes back. But I just was very disappointed with. I don't think it works with the show. It's just, I mean, I love seeing them, and I know they have nice chemistry, but I don't think it's necessary. Let it all happen, while the sewing is going on. So the other thing too is this show allows for seamstresses at night to help with the fabrics, which is not the case in the Bravo Project Runway version. So there is some differences to it. They're very, very similar. But I don't know. I think just from an actual really good show to watch, I don't know. I might stick with the original. Though I have to say, I love Tim Gunn. I'm not as crazy about Christian Siriano, or however you pronounce his name. But
I love him. I love him. I think
I think just that Tim has a sweetness about him, that when he's walking around, even when he's critical of something, it almost hurts him to be critical, whereas Christian seems to be enjoying it a little bit more. I don't know. I don't get the same vibe.
So what did you think about the part where Tim Gunn tells the Southern Belle designer, change that color, it's wrong, it doesn't look well, poofy, it looks like you're going to the prom, and she decides, screw it, she's not going to change it?
Well, first of all, that's like a standard thing that happens on all of these shows. The expert tells them what to do, and when they don't listen, it's usually a disaster. Occasionally they listen, but most of the time they're pretty stubborn. They're creative people, and it's like, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, and whatever happens, happens. And that's what happens. In that case, she didn't listen, and I think the comment was correct. I think it should have been changed, and she didn't do it.
But she made the cut.
She did make the cut, though. That's true. But there were worse outfits on that. It's really interesting too, because the people on this show can't sew as well as the Project Runway show, I think, because they have a seamstress that helps them at night. Maybe, I don't know.
I think in terms of inspiring or aspiring designers, I think to see how other people react, I think that's very real. The nervousness, the motivation, the creativity. Some of them reveal that they can't sew. They don't do the patterns. They're just a designer. So you get to see, the limitations or how people, adapt without being, like Ralph Lauren does not do anything. He just comes up with the concepts and somebody else
sketches it.
Yes, he sketches it and he gives it and he goes for lunch. So I mean, I recently learned, it's embarrassing, what a conceptual artist is. I went on to an exhibit of a conceptual artist in Mexico. I think it was Mexico City, and he explained, all the exhibits, all the paintings around the room. He didn't touch it. I mean, he had one person do the porcelain, another person did the ceramics, another person did the drawing, another person did the painting, and he put the whole thing together. And a lot of it was just letters of mottos and stuff. He's a conceptual artist. So I'm not a PR person anymore. I'm a conceptual artist.
You're a conceptual PR person. You have a concept of the PR, but you let other people do it.
I do lots of things. I'm either an editorial consultant or a conceptual artist. I haven't quite determined that. But I do want to give kudos to Elaine Bonnie Richer, who is my girlfriend since the 2nd grade. She gave me this gorgeous necklace, and I forgot what it is, so I can't tell you. But I have to tell you what happened, talking about fashion and everything. When I got this a few birthdays ago, She took Elliot and I out to Shun Li, a very expensive Chinese restaurant in Manhattan on the East Side, paid for everything, gave me this gorgeous necklace. It was my birthday. Everything was lovely. I was having a great time. And then the women at the next table got up. Bonnie and I are exactly the same age. I was born in November, so I'm slightly older. She was born in January. Okay, so feeling great, just had a great Chinese restaurant meal. Bonnie paid for it. It was like $300, whatever. And then these 2 or 3 women that were sitting next to us watching Bonnie give us the gift, eating, chatting, blah, 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 get up because they were leaving. And they come over to our table and they say, isn't that lovely that your daughter gave you such a beautiful birthday?
So how much did Bonnie pay them to do that? That's
You know what? I would say that, except that has happened 3 or 4 times in our lifetime. One time we were walking out of her building on the Upper East Side, and I had given her, well, I don't know, somehow she got a computer. Either I gave it to her or somebody gave it to her or something. And the old computer, which was mine, was going out the door. And Bonnie said, I'd like to give it to my doorman. I said, okay. So we brought it downstairs. Whitney was with us. We were going out again for Chinese food. And we were walking out the door, and she handed the old computer to her doorman. And her doorman said, oh, this is so lovely, but it's even lovelier that you have your mother with you. That was me.
Well, first of all,
so you know what? I decided this is it. This is it.
Well, first of all, how old are these stories? How long ago did you get that necklace?
This is about 2-3 years old, and the story before that was like 2 or 3 years. Oh, but the worst part of the whole thing is Bonnie says when these people do, I couldn't hear you. What did you say? What did
so they could repeat it.
Yeah.
She can record it. I'm sure
Bonnie.
She's paying off people. That's the only way. By the way, Bonnie gave me this shirt. So we're showing how generous Bonnie is. I got this shirt from Bonnie. So thank you, Bonnie. That was very lovely.
Are you Bonnie's father? That was so nice of her to give you that shirt.
I'm Bonnie's son.
So anyway, back to, I have to say about making the cut. I have never seen Nicole Richie look so gorgeous.
She looked great.
What is it that she does now? She's the head of a design company?
She has her own clothing line. It has a very silly name. I can't think of the name of it. I just can't think of it. But she has her own clothing line.
It really works these days.
Yeah, I don't know if she does how much she actually does, but she actually does a clothing line.
Proper perspective here. David, do you know who Nicole Richie is? Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
She and
Paris Hilton.
Oh, yes. Hilton. They did a show, right? On Fox?
Yes, they did a reality show a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
David, just for the audience, how old are you?
34.
34.
Yeah.
So, we would say he's a millennial. So Nicole Richie, even you are an old fart.
Oh man, I can't.
But you know what's amazing though? So the new Project Runway is trying to be hipper and younger, so they have a younger bunch of judges. But even that bunch of judges, doesn't even sync with a 34-year-old. Like he doesn't know who she is. So it's like they're kind of like wasting that name recognition if they're trying to bring in the 30-year-olds. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, I thought she was fine. I don't really know how much credibility she has in this world, though I think she does have a clothing line, but I don't know how well it does or any of that stuff. But
you think she's credible? She's very credible. Why would you?
As opposed to
beautifully. She's the daughter of one of the most famous guys in music.
Yeah, but who says that she has? She can decide who the next global brand is. I mean, this is about
if they would wear that. And she said she
I want that. Give me one. I mean, it was watching her beg for clothing. It was almost embarrassing. Can I have one of those? I want one of those. Can you get me one of those? It's like, geez, do it off camera. Don't do it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. The begging was pretty pathetic. So I'm a little worried about her too.
Nicole, Lionel Richie gave birth to, isn't his other daughter going out with somebody. I forgot who. I don't know. He has.
I
He
don't
did
know.
well with his children.
I'm sure he did. I have a lot of respect for Lionel Richie, but I have no idea. And the Commodores.
And the Commodore. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. He was with the Commodores. But he's walking on the ceiling.
The ceiling. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stealing an old Gene Kelly routine, basically.
Okay.
Who David has no idea who that is.
What else are you going to tell us about these fashion shows?
So I was just wondering, I thought it would be interesting because you got these two very similar formatted shows on two different platforms, and seeing if others, they can write back to us, get back to us, let us know if they think one is better than the other, or maybe they don't watch either of them. We also, there's a lot of, I watched Upload. I watched that. Power went through that whole series. I liked it a lot. Lois, you did not like Upload.
And I consider myself very much a part of the digital revolution. Showing us, so David, you have to watch this series on Amazon called Upload. And it's basically, I mean, I don't mind giving it an advertisement because it's clever, but it basically takes you to 2030. And you see all the technology that's being used. And the theme of the show, at least for the first few episodes, is a young guy dies and how they bring him back to Earth through technology. And I don't even understand half of it.
It's very conceptual, using that word again, but it's really about, like any science fiction, there's the whole science fiction part of it, but then behind it, it's really like a love story. There's a love triangle going on here, and there's also a murder mystery going on. So you've got two very real stories, the love story and the murder story, and then it's all kind of cloaked in this 2030 world where you can use your brain. If your body dies, your brain can go to another location and you can live digitally in a digital world that's been created for you. And of course, you have to pay for it. If you pay a lot of money, you are in a really nice digital world. If you don't pay a lot of money, you're in a crummy digital world. And it really kind of shows a lot of the details on how it might work. And again, it's a fantasy piece, but I think it's done very well. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was very clever. Upload on Amazon.
I thought that the imagery and the creativity of what could be was fabulous, but the storyline is very weak. Very weak.
Well, I think it's still, look, considering we're all stuck in prison and we have to watch something. I felt it was interesting.
I'm an intellect. I like a better storyline.
I thought it was interesting. I mean, look, the love story is a love story. The murder mystery is a murder mystery. But I like the way it's cloaked.
What's the murder mystery? What part is that?
You haven't seen enough of it to know. There's a murder.
Oh, there is. Miss Elliott said, "Oh, it's a mystery," and I think I snoozed. So catch me up.
Well, I don't want to ruin it for the people who are watching. That's a spoiler alert. No.
Who cares about that?
No.
We'll talk offline. No, and David's gonna watch it. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
David, you're gonna watch it. Yeah.
Yes.
David, you will like this. Oh, so Steve, tell us how you're going to. How many minutes are we on, David?
We've been on a while.
I guess half hour, maybe. Not sure.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So is this so of course, Steve, you forgot our sponsor. So he's gonna.
Oh my gosh, I did forget our sponsor. So let's talk about it.
He always forgets you.
No, I love Handlestick.
But every day Steve says to me, "Did Alan send a check? Did you ask Alan for a check?"
Alan, don't believe her.
Yes,
do not believe her.
He doesn't. I'm like sending up signs. I sent him a text. Do the sponsor.
I want to thank our sponsor, Handlestick. Which Lois, can you demo it, please, for us? There's the Handlestick. It can attach directly to the phone, or it can attach to your existing case already. It turns that case into having a great handle that you can easily hold the phone, but also it can be turned a kickstand. So you can either keep your phone horizontally or vertically. Great for doing FaceTimes and Zoom. It also lets you charge right through it, so you can wirelessly charge right through it, which is another great feature. Comes in more than 40 different styles, including a carbon print, animal style, bunch of different colors, very cool looking, and it's like adding high fashion jewelry accessory to your existing smartphone. It starts at the amazing price of, David, how much does it start at?
$10.
I mean, come on, folks. You can't beat that. Starts at $10. Go to Handle, Handln, Handle New York. So it's HANDLNEWYORK.com, and check out all the styles and pick one up. And look, you're stuck at home. You need a handle stick. So hope you'll do that. And again, thank you very much, Handle Stick, for sponsoring LOBOC, which is Lying on the Beach on Camera. And I think it's a wrap, correct, Lois?
Yes, it's a wrap.
Okay, so I'm Steve Greenberg with
Lois Whitman-Hess.
And
David Nieves.
Never.
And we have all been Lying on the Beach on Camera. Take care, everybody.